win. Tigers win. Boy, if we would have lost the midweek game to McNeese after all the struggles that LSU's had, Zach would have had a panic attack. Producer Zach would have had to go to the hospital. You know, he's already, you know, a gassy young man, you know. He would have been stressful. He would have been stressed. But Thatcher Hurd gets it out. Questionable call there by Jay in the ninth inning, but wasn't great, but didn't look good, fantastic at all times. You know, the seventh inning, Cruz would ground out to third. Tommy White would single. Beloso would walk. Travinsky would walk. And then Joe Bear and Thompson would strike out so that you could not get more runs. You know? Like Bo Jack says, took 4 errors. Look, man, at this point, at this exact moment, a win is a win. At this exact moment, a win is a win. We'll talk about it here tonight. We'll touch a little bit into the game tonight. Some takeaways. As Zach, guess what? Congratulations, my man. You've made it through 2 regular season LSU baseball seasons with AYS. Everybody, a round of applause for Zach. It hasn't been easy. It's been a long season. This part of our year, because we go live at 7 o'clock, we adjust times very frequently. And shout out to Zach and for being here with us. You're only as good as the people around you. So, I mean, and my man had a fire edit today for Logan Diggs. So thank you, Zach. Final regular season game at Alex Box. We have some this weekend. Then we go on to Hoover. Brody Dupree says, I love Jay, but he's got to get this team playing better baseball. Yeah, I agree. I don't necessarily like the experiment with Travinsky at first, but I understand what he's doing. He's got to get the bat into the lineup, and it seems as if he doesn't trust K. Beloso at first. So, I mean, I get it. You know, I get it. So, it is what it is. Blaze LeBlanc says, is it football season yet? Don't know how much more of these baseball games I can take. Well, if you think baseball's bad, man, football is just as worse if you're losing. Jason on Facebook says, an ugly win is better than a pretty loss. I agree with that all day. They played poorly for a while, but got it together against Magnese's top closer. Very, very true. Tyler Townsend on YouTube says, in my opinion, Money and Collins pitch all they can Sundays. Yeah, maybe. Our man Penn Jones, says, if you fire him before say he won't make it through 2. We'll see. Big pressure in the building said, did LSU win? That they did. Dane Bergeron with the biggest question of the night so far. Is it duck season yet? No, my friend. It is not. Yes, Zach, you can do that. It is. At least, is it? No, it's not. Not even remotely close. Jason Baker on Facebook says, I'm sorry, but I'm glad we didn't see Christian Little. Yeah. If he would have came out there in the ninth, you would have been in real trouble. Real trouble. And I hate saying that about the kid because he does work really hard. You know, Skip was talking to him before the game the other night. Let's see if maybe, you know, let's just hope. I mean, you're going to need it, man. I mean, guys, you're about to go into a big hell. You after this weekend, you go into some into tournament play. You're going to need him. We'll talk about this more tomorrow, but I agree with Shad here. Shad Mitchell on Facebook says, Georgia scares me. They have a good lineup. Well, not only that, it's not necessarily that they have a fantastic lineup. For me, is that they have 2 dudes that have over 17 home runs. They have 3 guys young men that have over 15 home runs. Like, they can hit. And it's the same argument, not argument, but same thing that we've talked about all year long, man. It's the same thing that we've talked about all year long. Like, it's not remotely close. It's not remotely close. So, all right. And that's not the only thing we got to talk about. Logan Diggs makes his commitment today to LSU. What does that mean for the future of John Emery? We break both of those down. We will take some key takeaways from the game and talk some Georgia as well. Cam Jordan gets an extension and hashtag Ask Blake, as we do every Tuesday and Thursday. Fire inside your questions, especially this late at night. You know what it happens when we go this late at night. I usually get to a lot more of your questions, thoughts, concerns. Let's have a fun night, man. Put your questions, thoughts, concerns into the Rudy Crew chat. Adam B says, bring back the boombox. Well, it's actually in the dugout, believe it or not. They play it every time in the dugout. You don't see it. You don't see it, but it's in there. Adam, believe it or not, I was thinking the same thing. And then when I went to the Southeastern game, because you can't say when you go to LSU, it was in the dugout. Ryan says, Crunk ain't dead. Why did I type swag? I don't know. Marvin says, Blake, how the baby doing? She's doing good, man. Doing good. Tyler says, am I wrong? But I have noticed that Dutton and Collins pitch very similarly, and the same kind of weird to have two in the same bullpen. Yeah, I get them mixed up all the time, man. Same kind of height, weight. I just remember the glasses. That's how I diagnose them. Tyler Townsend says pitching looked a lot better tonight. I will agree. Blake Money gives you some really good innings until the wheels start falling off for him, and that's what a lot of relief guys will have. That's what happened to him. It's tough to ask Blake Money to go more than 3 innings when, guys, he hasn't been asked to do that really all year, right? Like, your body gets conditioned to things, so it is what it is. Jason says, I seen your boy Joe wasn't talking real good about Diggs. Yeah, we'll get into Diggs. And y'all let me worry about Joe. From the Ruffino and Joe show. Big fan of the Tigers Avenue podcast. He said he listens to them more than he listens to me. What a Rudy Poo. What a freaking Rudy Poo. See that, Zach? You see that? Ed O. Nuss Bus Driver says, good baseball teams all down I-10. It's true. Very true. All right, let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag and our good friends over at GM Barno & Sons. But before we do that, everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those social media groups, share to all of your social media pages. If you're listening to us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and notification bell. If you're listening to us on TuneIn app, SiriusXM, or wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. We're back in just a second. Let's talk about this game very, very, very quickly. We've talked a lot of baseball this week. Got a lot of football I want to talk about, especially with Logan Diggs coming back down to Louisiana. We talk about it next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Vardo & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. That we are. Chad says just another game that LSU gets out hit, but yeah, it's all the bullpen's fault. I don't understand those takes, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Tyler Townsend said, I like the 3 innings apiece for the pitchers, but Dutton couldn't finish it off. True. Very true. Blaise LeBlanc says, with the addition of Diggs, in your opinion, what would the depth chart look like in the running back room? We'll talk about that next. Right. Just let us break down baseball for just a quick second. I'm not going to stay long on it at all because we're going to talk a lot about it tomorrow. Stephen Fry, good friends over at Fry Construction Dirt Services. If you need any hauling, they got you. Go see them over in Eunice, Louisiana. Let them know that Blake sent you on by. But our good friend Stephen says, I can't wait to watch this LSU football team get after it, Blake. All right, just bear with me. Let's talk a little bit baseball. I'm going to say 5 minutes. We got a lot of football to discuss tonight. A lot of football to discuss tonight. Let me just say this. You're not playing fantastic. You're just not. It's interesting, though, because, like, you look, you're down, okay, earlier in the game, and then you come into the bottom of the 6th, and then Kay Beloso and then Hayden Travinski hit back-to-back home runs. That's massive. Braden Jobert staying back on the ball. Line drive into left field. He's got to come through in the 7th, which I'm about to talk about. But then you get a walk by Thompson. Milazzo strikes out. Dylan Cruz hits into a fielder's choice. And then Trey Morgan grounds out to shortstop. Anytime you put up runs in an inning, it's not a bad inning, especially when you hit back-to-back jacks. Problem with me or for me is this. When you get to like the bottom of the 7th and you get Cruz that grounds out, White would hit a single, Beloso walks, Stravinsky walks, you have bases loaded, and then you get 2 strikeouts in a row. Like those are put the ball in play. I'd rather you put the ball in play and let there be a double play and then them get out of the inning versus you just not doing anything, man. You know, you go 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 1st. In the bottom of the 2nd, you would score a couple runs, but Thompson laid down a perfect sacrifice bunt. Milazzo gives you an RBI on a bloop little, just itsy bitsy, soft little grounder, softer than Sharman, softer than Baby Stool, and luckily you score your first run. And then Dugas would ground out to 3rd. You go to the bottom of 3rd. Morgan, Cruz, White, Beloso. 2 straight outs on really soft hit baseballs. It can't happen, man. Those just kind of things cannot happen. So I like what I saw from Gavin Guidry tonight. I thought, Thatcher Hurd came up in a big spot. It's the last official home game in Alex Box this season. And, man, you just don't ever know. You just don't ever know. So you've gone through the regular season at your home stadium, your home place, and now you go into another scenario where you got to go into Georgia. You got to win 2 or 3. We're going to spend a lot of time, maybe not a lot of time, but we're going to spend time tomorrow in reference to talking about Georgia, a lot of things that they do well, and we'll kind of table that a little bit. But I will preface this by telling you, guys, they have 3 dudes hitting 15 that have 15 home runs or more. If you think you can just walk up in Athens and just take them lightly, newsflash, you can't. Their bullpen is horrendous. They have no idea who they're starting on Saturday. They have no idea who they're starting on Sunday. But it doesn't really matter because neither did Mississippi State. Really, I understand and it's not really an excuse. It's not really an excuse what I'm about to say. But I'm going to give Jay a little bit of a pass on Mississippi State finding out some of the things that Matt Trent laid out for us last night. When you have multiple guys that got to get pulled out of the game because of heat exhaustion and things like that, you've played a long series, it's hot on a Sunday, Mother's Day. I get it, but the other part of me says, well, Mississippi State had 4. There's no real excuses, but it's just tough, man. You're not. You would want to play your best ball right now. You would want to start playing your best ball right now. How long does it take to get you out of this funk? How long? Because listen, it's not as if Garrett Edwards was throwing every game. Now, he had multiple times where he came in back-to-back games and looked really good. But you're just in a slump, man. And you're going to have to find a way out of it. I do hope for LSU's sake, I do pray for LSU's sake that school being done, finals being done, that you can get to a place where, man, all we got to do is play baseball. All we have to do, if you're LSU, is play baseball. That's a big thing. That's a big deal. So let's hope you can go up to Athens, man. I mean, you're going up to Athens, and look, Hoover's not a far drive. So I very highly doubt that LSU comes back to Baton Rouge. Now it's time to put on your game face. Now it's time to get ready to go. Like, if you're in that locker room, get one really good night of sleep, get your rest up, get your gallon of water, get your stuff ready to go. You're going to be gone for a little while. Hopefully you're gone for over 10 days. And if you're gone for over 10 days, you'll know you're back. But the first thing you got to do is you're All-American. Arguably the best player in baseball right now, and I don't care that he only pitches 1 day a week. He's going for you on Friday. Start off there. Then start piecing some of these things together. Because quite honestly, you cannot slump down the stretch and think that you're going to the places that you want to go. Now, if you saw the debate and argument I got in with another media member on Twitter, let me just make this note before we transition to football. Let me just preface this, okay? Gavin Dugas took a little tumble. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty, whatever the jingle is, the nursery rhyme, couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. You better be lucky that Gavin Dugas' shoulder, if it did pop out, that it popped back in. You cannot go into a series with Ben DePault playing and starting second and thinking that you can make a run at Georgia and thinking that you can make a run in Hoover. It's not possible. If your bullpen is horrendous, which it has been the last couple of weeks, if your bullpen's horrendous, you're going to have to outsmash people. You're going to have to go full mega green and go full Hulk on them. Hulk smash. That will have to be your mentality. We'll talk a lot about it tomorrow. Eric says, no, they said during the broadcast that LSU is going straight from Georgia to Hoover. There you go. You're not coming back. I saw that on Andre Sam. I'll put this up. Greg Penn tweeted LSU starting backer, the house emoji for Andre Sam. Yeah, it's a name that not a lot of people have been viewing around here. Let's see how that transpires. But young man did some very good things at Marshall. Let's see what happens. All right. Get a sip of this Watra. Then we'll get to some comments. All right, we'll talk some football and then get to some of the comments. So fire them all in, man. There's a lot of you in here tonight. Fire in them comments. Let's get it rolling while you hit the like and share. Okay. Let's talk some Logan Diggs. So if you missed it today, Logan Diggs, the former Rummel, there you go, Zachy. The former Rummel, I don't like my face being blocked. Thank you. The former Rummel and Notre Dame running back, Logan Diggs, committed to LSU today. Obviously, he's in the transfer portal. We talked about this a lot. I think you all knew where this was going when we talked about him so much. You're in a situation where arguably you need more running backs. You don't necessarily know the status of Armani Goodwin. You don't know the status of John Emery. Now, table the John Emery thing. So we've mentioned John Emery a couple times when we hear about the recruitment of Logan Diggs. Tonight, we're going deep into what does it mean for him. But here is what you're getting in Logan Diggs. Regardless of what my other co-host on my other show, Joe DeLeon, says, Logan Diggs had 165 carries last season, 822 yards, 5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns on 10 receptions, 211 receiving yards, which is 21 yards per catch. That is massive. 2 touchdowns, so 6 total touchdowns. He had 1,033 total yards from scrimmage a season ago. Also, what's interesting, what's very, 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 very interesting with Logan Diggs, very few and far between that you find that Logan Diggs fumbles the football, something that I really like. Here's the biggest reason why this is a big deal for LSU, not even talking about depth. Frank Wilson has had multiple stints at LSU, this being his second. What do we always know about Frank Wilson? He likes going running back by committee. He always has. Last year was literally no different. Now, you can make the argument, if you're going by committee, you don't really have a go-to back. Well, Frank had guys like Jeremy Hill, and if there is a go-to back, I think that he has one that he just recruited in Caleb Jackson. You will give him the bulk of the carries. But last year, no running back at LSU eclipsed over 100 attempts running the football. Josh Williams, who only played in 11 games last year, so obviously had a couple of games missed because of injury, would have well gone over that if he would have played. But he had 97 carries for 532 yards. Noah Cain and John Emery alike both had 76 carries last season. Cain had 409 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, and John Emery had 375. Cain had 10 touchdowns. Emery had 6. Then you had Armani Goodwin, who got a bulk of his carries, only played in half the games that LSU had last season, as in 7, 45 carries, 267 yards, 6 yards per carry. What's interesting about him, people forget that he had 5 rushing touchdowns last season and only half the season. So what does it mean? To me, I think it's a massive addition for you being able to get Logan Diggs into this room. You're adding a weapon for an already potent offense. One thing that a lot of people like, it's flashy. I get it. You want to see balls thrown down the field. You're going to see that. Okay? As we start turning this page a little bit, Zach, you can use this for your preseason hype video. As LSU turns the page into year 2 under Brian Kelly, they're going to advance things offensively. They're going to get the ball down the field more. They're going to get the ball to their running backs out in space in the passing game more. It's a big philosophy and a big piece that if you remember when Mike Denbrock took over as the offensive coordinator, he literally laid out the plan that he had at Cincinnati. He is copy and pasting it at LSU. Logan Diggs adds to that massive piece of getting that running back out of the backfield that can catch it and run and get you very good yards. 21.1 yards per catch a season ago. But Frank Wilson is going to Frank Wilson. The running back by committee is what LSU was known for when you had 4 and 5 backs in a year, that at any given moment, one could break off, that you had fresh running backs, and why LSU was so effective and why everybody thought, man, LSU, even though Les Miles was one of the craziest coaches of all time, he had fresh backs throughout the game. It's why in 2011, when Michael Ford busted that long run on the outside, why did he look so much more fresh than everybody around him? Well, you know why, because it was a running back by committee. Anytime that you add 1,000-yard back, 1,000-yard from scrimmage back, I should add, there's nothing that hurts you here. You got better for this year today. Now, Logan Diggs has 2 years to play. This isn't just a one-year deal. It's not just a one-year deal. When Josh Williams leaves next season, when Noah Cain leaves next season, Logan Diggs is and can be that veteran presence, that veteran back in your locker room. What does he also know? He also knows that Brian Kelly has already seen the value in him, and he wants to come home. You know what's interesting is one thing that we don't mention about Brian Kelly either. Have you seen the recruiting rankings lately? Like, when's the last time you've gone to one of those services? Right? Like, when's the last time that you've gone to one of the services and seen what LSU's doing in recruiting? Now, I know I'm going to bring this back to Logan Diggs. Just stay with me. So if you look in the 2024 class, especially when you look inside the state of Louisiana, LSU closing in on Dominic McKinley, LSU closing in on who they believe could be the best corner in this class in Wardell Mack, closing in on Tylen Singleton, closing in on Joel Rogers from West Feliciana, Kobe Young, and others. Brian Kelly's locking the state down, and not only that, he's been going out and getting the kids from Louisiana to come back home, and look at the success that it's getting you. I am not going to sit here and say that I believe that Logan Diggs is RB1 as of today. I think that goes Josh Williams, Noah Cain. Let's see how Logan Diggs can work himself into that rotation. But it's just such a massive piece when you have a guy that last year on a really tough Notre Dame team, meaning they were more one-dimensional than any Power 5 team that had success last year. Guys, Drew Pine for Notre Dame was not good. Notre Dame was one-dimensional. And we saw what Logan Diggs and the ability that he has when you pop on the film against Clemson, when you pop on the film against South Carolina, when you pop on the film against other teams last year, one guy that always flashed was Logan Diggs. Now, Logan went viral, if you remember, as a freshman when he leapfrogged somebody down the sidelines, and Brian Kelly is not known for starting young running backs because of fumbling issues, because of protection issues. And one thing that is for sure is not only can he run the football at a high clip, can he run it between the tackles, you can trust Logan Diggs on all 3 downs. You can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he is a punishing pass blocker when you turn on the film. There are multiple times when Logan Diggs hit the portal, like I went and watched him play Clemson, and him picking up a blitz of a middle backer and flatlining him. There are just so many things that he does well that to me, I'm not saying it's a home run addition, but I'm saying it's a massive addition for you. Guys, you're only getting better here. Think about it like this. Your worst running back Maybe taking the freshman out for just a minute is what, maybe John Emery? Maybe Armani Goodwin? You're pretty well stacked at that position. Even though during spring you didn't have hardly any bodies there. You return production at wide receiver. You return production with a guy like Malik Neighbors returning, who had 1,017 receiving yards on 72 catches. You return the number 2 receiving tight end and the number 2 receiving yardage guy on your team outside of Kayshon Boutte and Mason Taylor. Brian Thomas returns. Kyron Lacey returns. Chris Hilton returns. You got Sheldon Sampson and Kyle Parker and Jaylen Brown that are coming in. You have an offensive line that really should not miss a beat. They've only gotten better with guys like Lunsford and Lance Hurd coming in. I know a lot of this is going to predicate on how good Jayden Daniels can be. And I am willing to fall on the sword and be wrong on this one. I'm okay with being wrong. I think Jayden Daniels takes a massive leap forward. I think with having the offensive pieces around him and the depth that you have around him makes him that much better. We see quarterbacks all the time. Doesn't matter if they're how many starts they've had beforehand. Guys that go from year 4 to year 5, the drastic measures and the drastic what's the word I'm looking for here? The drastic leap that they can take from years 4 and 5, not just talking about starters, is unreal. He's a 5th-year guy. Logan Diggs is what you look for in a great additional piece. Some people nationally think it's a sneaky good pickup. It's more than a sneaky good pickup. It's a damn good pickup. It's a damn good pickup for you. Notre Dame can say all they want. Oh, he wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to start. You know what I say to that? Horse shite. Horse shite. You have 1,000-yard back and you're not going to play him in a significant role. That's how you tell me and show me that Marcus Freeman is on the top of the list of Rudy Poos. Top of the list of Rudy Poos. So as we talk about all offseason, find me a hole offensively. Now, you can say Jayden Daniels. Some of you will. I'm going to allow you to have your opinion. But I just want to I just want to remind you of this. Jayden Daniels ran for 885 yards. Williams had 532. Kane had 409. Emery had 375. Goodwin had 267. You're adding a guy that had the same amount of yards as Jayden Daniels, and how much did that impact you last year? How much did that impact you? Now, will Logan Diggs' stats probably go down a little bit? Maybe, because he's going into a room that's got dudes in it. But how much better does that make him down the stretch that he doesn't have to take that many carries to be that productive? Now, the flip side, and another thing that I want to talk about here, is John Emery. I don't know really where to start with John. Okay? You know how good he can be. I know how good he can be. We've talked about this when Brian Kelly announced that he was away from the team. This is not sourced. I'm giving an opinion. Strictly an opinion. When I say I'm just giving an opinion, I could be wrong. Let me also preface this by saying I do think that John Emery would be a good, if John Emery's in your room, it's not bad to have him there. But, man, if you thought your running back room was in a good position with John Emery and Armani Goodwin returning, why would you go get Logan Diggs? John's got a lot of things he's got to do. And Brian Kelly has talked about an avenue for a way for him to come back to this team. but it's just it doesn't feel right. And I don't know if John Emery gets a lot of carries or touches in the beginning. Now, we could go out to practice day one and John Emery's there. Would not shock me in the slightest. Legitimately would not shock me in the slightest if when Brian Kelly gives the media availability that we walk our happy rear ends out there and John Emery's taking reps. Wouldn't surprise me. But, man, it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like he's going to be a part of this team. And I will tell you now, even if he is, Diggs is going to get his fair share of carries. He's going to get his fair share of carries. So is Williams. So is Kane. Oh, and by the way, so is Jane Daniels. A lot of dogs in that room that want to eat. And I don't know if John Emery has a bowl at the table that he can eat from either. I don't know if John Emery, I do question. Now, I was one of the ones that was out here advocating, sometimes even calling out the NCAA for John Emery's mistake. But I do sit here and ask this simple question. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. How bad do you want it? Do you really want to play football? Because there's only one way, there's only one path back. Only one path back. He knows it. Brian Kelly knows it. The staff knows it. Hell, the SEC knows it. The fans know it. Everybody knows what the path back is for John Emery. Everybody. Does he want it bad enough to where he can come back and want to play? Look, you face teams next year. You face teams next year that have a lot of production returning. Guys, did y'all know that, I heard somebody today or somebody asked me today, Blake, why are you so high on Florida State? Well, they got better on the defensive line. They got better at linebacker. They got better at tight end. They got better at DB. They got arguably the best DB in the portal. They got better at running back. They got better at the offensive line. It would appear that Keon Coleman, it's coming down to Florida State and Ole Miss. Looks like they're about to get better at receiver. I think they're third in the country or second in the country in returning production. That's why. And you need every weapon in your arsenal. Every weapon in your arsenal to take teams down like that. I don't care if you think you're better than them. Oh, Blake, we're going to steamroll Florida State. Okay, cool. I don't disagree with you. It's not my point of what I'm trying to make here. All I'm saying is you need every weapon that you can pull out of your pocket. Look at LSU's bullpen. You think they don't want another two really good arms? You need every weapon. And Logan Diggs is that. And you got to wait and see on John Emery. No clue what's going to happen. But my opinion is, I just don't think he's going to be here. And I pray to God I'm wrong. I legitimately pray to God I'm wrong. And will gladly come on here and say, man, I'm glad that my thought and my opinion was wrong. I will be happy. Kirk Taylor says, long time, Blake. Man, it too early for football talk. 40 wins for LSU since 2015. It's never too early for football talk. And by the way, Kirk, we talked about LSU baseball for 25 minutes to start the show. August says Anderson too from Bama. Yeah, that's another weapon that you have. It's another weapon that you have. Look, I don't want to overreact. I really don't want to overreact here. but your team's going to be pretty freaking good. Your team has the potential to be really, really freaking good. All right, Zach, this is the 7th time I'm seeing it. You want me to talk on, should I talk on Andre Sam? Okay. Let me pull up my notes on him. It's like the 7th message we've gotten on him. There's the Adobe file. All right. So just so we're all clear here. Just so we're all clear. Andre Sam, a safety last year for Marshall. He had 53 tackles, 5.5 for loss, 1 interception, 7 pass defenses, and 1 fumble recovery for 20 yards. The interesting thing about Andre Sam that when I first saw him is not only did he have a high production year last year, he went into the year with 179 career total tackles. 179. He's also a guy, guess where he's from? Guess where he's from? Iowa, Louisiana. Another kid from the state. Sound familiar? Now, I understand that he had been, quote unquote, crystal balled to Miami, I think it was. We'll see. We'll see. He's kept it pretty close to the vest. He's kept it really, really close to the vest. But there's some people out here. There's some people out here talking. Look, I retweeted this. If you want to go take a look at his game, look, man, he is a massive and big time tackler in the open field. Like, you see the interception he had against James Madison. You see what he did against Notre Dame, and really a guy that you just got in Logan Diggs. He is one of the better tacklers that you will see in the open field. And it's not like he played just against scrubs. Marshall has played some real dudes, and look, he's gone out like I'm looking at this right now. I think against the guy that got drafted from Fresno State, the wide receiver, he's locking him down. You have to play on Logan Diggs, where Logan catches a ball in the flat, and at the line of scrimmage, he makes the play and makes the tackle. That guy is not coming in here. That guy is not coming in here to sit. So something was told to him. Richard Head, aka Dickhead, on YouTube says, "Did you just say crystal balled to Miami? Outstanding, good one. I heard that one." I don't know if that's a troll or not. Kaiser Roll on YouTube says he still is, but I think he's staying home. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not putting a prediction in on that. Let's get to a couple of these comments. John Butler says Bama played Bama twice because the SEC is a cartel. Bama played Bama twice? Or you mean Georgia played Bama twice? One conference received all of the millions. That was a rematch. No better what happened. I'm not sure what that means. Doug Nose says the running back check down was very evident during the spring game. JD5 with a safety valve will be more dangerous. I've seen Diggs take a check down 75 yards. It's very true. And it's something that I know and have heard from coaches. Like, they're just openly giving it. Something that they've been up front with. They want to get the backs more involved in the passing game. And I think Logan Diggs gives you that option, right? Like he 1,000% gives you that option. So I'm okay with that. Doug says again, BK and Diggs versus Reeves and Buckner matchup in the SEC is crazy if you think about it. Kind of is, man. It kind of is. Notre Dame look, man, you can't lose that type of production. Look, you want to know the teams that do really good is when they have a lot of return or some semblance of returning production. Some semblance. It takes a freak of nature like a Joe Burrow or a Bryce Young or whoever it may be to come in cold off the street and start making things happen. You know, one thing that we talk about, and Joe Burrow said this today, I love this from Joe. So something that, and we don't have to stay on this long, but Joe Burrow today was asked, they're doing some OTA minicamp type stuff. And Joe Burrow was asked about contract extension, his contract extension. He says, well, I'm talking with them every time, and I'm mentioning them the guys I want. I'm not good without these great players around me. Man, Joe going to take a pay cut. I don't think Joe's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he is. I think Joe's going to Tom Brady this thing because you know what, man? At some point, how much is enough money? Now, I think he's going to get paid up there. I think he could be top 3, but top 3 ain't Mahomes. You know, meaning like pay wise. Like I think that's what Joe wants. Richard Manning says he reminds me, talking about Andre Sam, he reminds me of Jay Ward. I think he's a better tackler than Jay Ward. I think he's a better tackler than Jay, and I love Jay to death. And Jay would come up and punch you in the mouth. Richard on YouTube says, no, I'm serious. Instead of crystal ball recruiting, it worked for Miami now with coaches' names. True. Crystal ball. By the way, do we have any Barry? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if anybody in here watches the TV series Barry. Zach, do you watch Barry? You don't watch Barry? What? There is a guy on the TV series. His name is Hank, and he has a gay lover named Cristobal from Miami. Cristobal. Yeah, man, you can't make this up. I don't really think he's from Miami, but I thought it was funny. Hank might be the best character in all of television right now. Might be. Kaiser on YouTube says, something about this year is giving me 2019 vibes. I don't know. Man, that's so tough. That's so tough because I think this is two completely different teams. And I think it's tough when we talk about, vibes of 2019, man. I can't go there because you're saying, are we expecting the best team of all time? Take 2. Can it happen? Sure. Will it happen is a big difference. It's a big difference. It's a big question mark that you have to ask yourself, right? I do not know if you're going to have that type of season. And I just don't think you're going to, if you do it, you're going to do it in a completely opposite way. Do I think that you take shots down the field and you attack the middle of the field and Jane gets better at doing that? Yes. I also think you're going to run the ball at a pretty high clip, and I think you're going to run it pretty effectively. Man, you know one thing, and I've said this, and people get mad at me all the time. All the time. Man, we forget how clutch Jaden was last year. Multiple runs against Alabama, the corner route to Mason Smith. Like, we forget all that, right? Like, we forget how clutch Jaden Daniels was a season ago. And when you have games, like when LSU's defense is struggling early against Florida and Jaden draws the defense off sides and he throws the bomb to Jeray Jenkins, bang, touchdown. The throw to Brian Thomas Jr. Does Jaden have things to work on? We talk about this. Yes, he does. He knows it. You know it. The country knows it. Brian Kelly has publicly talked about it. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. But at the same moment, you saw flashes. If you take the blinders off for 5 freaking minutes, you saw the flashes again in the biggest games. You saw what he could do against Purdue. Purdue was down. Sounds good. I don't give two flying Rudy Poos whatsoever. He's had really productive times in games. You add pieces like Logan Diggs. You add pieces in recruiting like Shelton Sampson, Kyle Parker, and others. You get a big offensive burly tackle in a Lance Hurd. You get him another weapon in Mason Lunsford. This offense could be something serious. Oh, and by the way, let's call it what it is. This is the best quarterback room that you've had since Burrow's been in that building. And the problem with that is you can only make the argument for Burrow because of his status. Who was behind him? Brennan. Okay? This quarterback room, whether you like it, love it, hate it, arguably is back to when you talk about a quarterback room with Jamarcus Russell, Matt Flynn, and others. Brian Kelly in 2 years has revolutionized the depth of this team. Can you remember a time where LSU was this deep outside if you took 19 out of it? And really, that 19 team defensively was not deep. Like, bro, we had Michael Divinity that we needed to rush the passer. Like, we didn't have dudes like this. Now you get Harold Perkins back. Now you have a 5-star defensive edge guy that could put his hand in the dirt or stand up, and Deshaun Womack, a bona fide 5-star. Denver Harris was a bona fide 5-star. You get Deuce Chestnut. You get the FCS's best corner in the country in Zy Alexander. And Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock have made it known they're not done at tight end. We talked about that last night with Carter Bryant. If you missed it, just go at the end of the show and listen to our segment with him. Man, we're deep. LSU's deep, man. Zach, at the end of the show, you're going to come to me and say, hey, Mr. Blake, why were you doing this all during the show? And I'm going to tell you, and you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely freaking love it. Brian Kelly's not done, dude. Kirk says Lee, Paralou, Jefferson. Were they ever in the same room together? Maybe I'm tripping. Richard Manning says JD5 was important in Diggs coming to LSU. He sees something in this kid also. Don't say that. They about to blow up my DMs. Well, the only thing that you've been blowing up, I heard, over the last couple of weeks is the commode. Hey, you want to hear a funny story? Zach, before we get on out of here? Did you hear about the man that walked into Home Depot? Did you hear about this story? Yes or no? So a man walks into Home Depot, okay, and he's running through the store. I mean, holding his britches, running through the store. Okay, so goes to the bathroom. All right, couple guys are taking a piss. One guy's in a stall and he's taking a poop, and the guy runs in the bathroom. He says, "Man, I'm about to blow this thing up." Well, some people called the local authorities and they thought it was a bomb scare. The man walks out of the bathroom and says, "Hey, man, I just had to take a dump. I'm about to blow this mother down." Ryan says, # ask Zach about Angel Reese. You have a crush on Angel Reese? I'm a happily married man. The only crush I have is the Lord. But it does happen to the best of us. Brian Turner on YouTube says, yeah, they were all on the same team in 2008. Okay. I can't put up old vets comment because I'll get canceled. Holden Lee says, more I watch Andre Sam's tape, the more I really like. The dude can tackle in space, man. Dude can really tackle in space. Can really, really tackle in space. He's a dude now. He's a dude. Don't mistake it. Do not mistake it. So, all right. Zachy, I'm going to bring you up. You ready? We can't hear you. Hello? Hello? Zach, what's going on here, man? It's your moment to shine.
What about now?
Oh, there he is.
Gotta love the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, you've had your fair share of them. I've had my fair share of them. They're not fun.
Yeah, last week I couldn't hear the Matt Trent. And everybody's like, oh, Blake had to go take a dump. No, I couldn't hear him.
I think I was the one that said in the background, but it's okay. You didn't have to tell.
It didn't really matter because I'd tell you if I was doing it. I mean, it don't matter to me. How afraid is your little heart for LSU baseball?
Ooh, it's a little nervous right now. I'm gonna be honest. It's a little nervous. You have to get to a point where you have to really hope that Skeen's gonna be Skeens, but you got to really hope that you win. That Ty keeps doing what he's doing, and extends, and then you Ty. That Ty continues to extend, and you put up a lot of points. Ty Floyd.
This is how you say Ty. You ready?
Ty.
Ty Floyd.
You gotta hope Ty Floyd can get
Ty
there.
Is just one syllable. It's not six. Ty.
Is that better?
Yeah. All right. Let's get out of here.
Facts.
Zach and Angel had Angel on his mind. Do you? Would you go out on a date with Angel Reese? Yes or no?
I was gonna say something, but I can't say that. I can't say.
Would you go out on a date with her?
Yeah.
Do you want those digits?
Give me them digits, bro. I'll be like, Angel, what up, girl? Let me throw some alleys to you.
So listen, you do know that I have the keys to clip things like this and post it on Twitter.
Angel, where you at, girl?
All right. Peace.